Hey everyone, Gen 3D Tech here. Today we're checking out the eSport Tiger WuXiang X. It's basically an updated WuXiang 2, which I reviewed on the channel a few months ago. That pad I very much enjoyed, and this pad right here has some nice improvements over that we'll get into in the review. So without further ado, let's get into it. Anyways, I'll first start off by thanking Addice for this review sample. I was very anxious to check out this pad. I did enjoy the WuXiang 2 pad, and this pad surprisingly is a nice improvement. The first thing that you'll notice if you've used the WuXiang 2, this pad is not as smooth, even though it is a smooth pad, don't get me wrong, but it does feel like it has texture on it, almost similar to a Vancer Ice pad, but not quite the same. The texture is a little bit more uniform on this pad. And another thing also is this pad and the WuXiang 2 and the Ice, they all have this rainbow effect on it. And just the lighting in my room where I shoot, it was never good enough on those pads that you could actually see the rainbow effect on those pads. But you can definitely see it on this pad. So if you like that effect, it's definitely much more visible on this pad. Now, as far as the size goes, this is a 480 by 400 millimeter pad. It's 3 millimeters thick, and as you can see, it has a rubber base and no stitch edging. And the price is $45. Now, the original WuXiang 2 is $35. Same size, same thickness, and just like the WuXiang X here, no stitch edges. Now I'll go ahead and bring out the WuXiang 2. You can see it is the same size. Now, if you look close, the base is definitely different. The base on the WuXiang X is not as serrated feeling. It's not as rough feeling, and it's definitely softer feeling on the WuXiang X. This is more of a standard base that you find on most pads, and this has just got a finer texture. But as far as it moving, it does not move whatsoever. The WuXiang 2, you can move it just a hair. I mean, it's never been a problem, but it moves just a hair compared to the WuXiang X. Now, I don't know if you can see the difference, but there's definitely a difference in the foam between the two. The thickness definitely looks the same. But I will say it looks so much finer on the WuXiang X. I feel like it's going to have a lot less chance of it fraying, even though there is no fraying whatsoever on the WuXiang 2 that I have. Now, again, you can see the rainbow effect going on here, and then here, you don't really see it. Now, I've definitely seen the rainbow effect on this pad with other people, but I've just never been able to get it to work on my setup. So again, if you like the rainbow effect, it's definitely going to be much more prominent on the WuXiang X. Now, again, the surface feels a bit different. You can definitely feel the texture. This feels a little more plasticky and smooth, whereas this surface feels just a little bit more premium. Now, in the ad, it says that the WuXiang X is 15% faster. And I can't really perceive that. They both feel about the same speed, but the difference is that the WuXiang X has actual stopping power. There's little to no stopping power on the WuXiang 2, Now, I find it to be a very fun pad, and it's a really good pad for glass feet. Right here, I'm using PTFE feet, but it's just a very fun pad. Now, I'm not going to say it's the best pad for for performance wise, but it's an enjoyable pad to use. Now, some people hate this pad because their arm sticks to it. I don't have that problem. I've never run into that issue, but if you had that issue, you may not have the issue with this because again, the surface feels different, and I feel like it would be less prone to having stickiness on this pad. The biggest difference between the two pads is the control on this pad. There is actually a really good amount of control on this pad. So while this is also a very fun to use pad that I found it very enjoyable, the difference is I perform really well on the WuXiang X. Now, unlike the WuXiang 2, which comes in a bunch of different designs, so far there's only one design for the WuXiang X, which is these raven. It's like a raven wing, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but that's just my guess. I really like the surface a lot, and I would really like to see other designs. I think this is a cool design, but I really would like to see more designs available because there's some really awesome designs on the WuXiang 2. So just having a few more to choose from, I think would be really cool. I can only guess that maybe they just wanted to bring one out and see how it did, and then if it did well, they would release more. But I'm just guessing. Now, as far as humidity resistance goes, the WuXiang 2 was completely humidity resistant. Now, like I said, though, if you sweat, your arm might stick to it from what I've been told. But as far as moisture, it doesn't absorb it whatsoever. I believe that's going to be the case here with the WuXiang X, but we'll go ahead and just drop a little bit of water on there and see. And as you can see, it doesn't absorb the water at all. And it doesn't affect the performance of PTFE whatsoever. Glass feet also, it does not affect it whatsoever. Now, some pads, glass feet can sometimes be slower, but the glass feet are, and these are the super glides, by the way, they're really fast on this pad. And just for something different, here's the ninjutsu hyper skates, and they're definitely not as fast. And I'll go ahead and just bring out a couple mice and see how they do. So here's the Addice 4K. It feels pretty nice on there. Lamzu Atlantis also feels really nice. The Aria, nice, and the Van Sarcaster. Yeah, these skates are really fast for PTFE on there. The new Glorious Model O Pro. It's a bit slower on this pad for sure. The Xtrify M8. Yeah, these skates feel really well. And in fact, I did most of my testing with the Xtrify M8 on this pad, and it was a really good combination. And lastly, I'll just do the Final Mouse Starlight 12 10s edition. Yeah, I wouldn't say that these are the best skates for this type of pad. So again, if you're looking for a pad that's really fun to use, that's to me it's comfortable on the skin. It's not abrasive whatsoever. It does feel like there's a little bit of texture, but it's not unpleasant at all. I also like that it's pretty thin at 3 millimeters, even though I'm pretty sure it's more like 2.5 millimeters. It doesn't seem as thick as other 3 millimeter pads that I've seen. So when you go off the edge, you don't really feel it since there's no stitching. Again, I don't have any fraying with the WuXiang 2, so I don't expect there to be any with this. And as far as the pads breaking down, I guess they can break down, but I've never used either one of them long enough for that to happen. I also don't push very hard on my mice or even make long sweeping movements for the most part. I'm mostly just a micro adjuster, so I typically don't wear out pads very much. Now, at $45, that is $10 more expensive than the WuXiang 2, but I definitely feel like it's worth it just because you get so much more control on this pad, but yet you still get the same amount of speed. Maybe it's 15% better. It's hard for me to tell, but you can really tell the difference in the control. There's so much more control on this pad, and it takes this pad to another level to where it's a really good controllable pad. It's got really good balance, basically. I think it's a really good balanced speed pad. If you're a fan of the Vancer Ice, I think you'll definitely like this pad. Heck, if you're a fan of the Glorious Ice, you'll definitely like this pad. And you'll also like the fact that it lasts way longer than the Glorious Ice, because the Glorious Ice can wear out very quickly. However, the Glorious Ice can be had for as low as $15, I believe. So this is 3 times the price, but it will last much longer, I guarantee you, than the Glorious Ice. So all in all, I was very surprised by this pad. I was not expecting the amount of control it would have. I did expect it to be fast and fun to use like the WuXiang 2, but again, I was not expecting it to be a good controllable pad while maintaining that fast speed. So with having said that, I definitely recommend this pad, and it's definitely one of the better pads that I've tried this year. So if you did try the WuXiang 2 and you didn't like it, you might consider giving this pad a go, because I think you might like it if your complaints were how the surface felt and the lack of control. So anyways, if you're interested in buying this pad, you can get it at Addice. I'll have a link in the description. And if you own this pad already and you've tried it out, I'd love to hear your opinion on it. If you have any questions, feel free and ask in the comments. I'm always looking in the comments, and I try to answer as many questions as possible. I don't always get to every single one, but I really try to answer as many as possible. So that's about it, and hopefully you enjoyed this review and found it informative. If you did, please leave a like, and a sub would be cool. I'm getting very close to 1,000 subs. I've definitely appreciated all the support as viewers you've given me, and it's been a very fun year. I have a end of the year video where I'm going to be doing a collab with other creators on top mice, so definitely be on the lookout for that soon. And I also have a few more full mice reviews to squeeze in before the end of the year. And looking at 2023, there's a bunch of really awesome looking mice. There's some I'd love to be able to talk about, but I can't. But I will tell you, there's some really cool mice coming out next year. If you think what we had in 2022 is awesome, wait till you see 2023. So anyways, that's it, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.